My Instagram. Welcome everyone. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live. This is actually our very first episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live in 2022. All right, so Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everybody. Happy New Year on Facebook, on YouTube, and also on the gram, on Instagram. And so welcome everybody and thank you so much for being here. I am Otis Landerholm. I am the founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream, and it's an honor and a privilege to be here with you. All right? Honor and a privilege. Today we are talking about how to get a green card. How to get a green card in 2022. That is the question, all right? That is the question. And so thank you all so much for being here. Remember, at the Empowered Immigrant Live, we are here to train, to teach, to inspire, and to empower immigrants to make the most out of immigration laws and to make the most out of their lives, all right? So welcome. Today our theme is how to get a green card in 2022. Thank you to everyone who asked your questions. We got 30 minutes. We'll do this in English and then we'll do the same episode in Spanish. I'm going to go a bit rapid fire today. I hope that's okay with everybody. And we're going to jump right into it. Before we talk about how to get a green card, first I want to talk about what is a green card? All right, I wish I had one to hold up. It's really just a piece of plastic. All right, it's really just a piece of plastic. This is a driver's license, but it looks very similar, right? And our office wins green cards for people every day. We had a green card come in today for a client. I'd show it to you, but that would I don't have my client's permission to do that, right? So I don't have an actual green card that I can show you right here, right now. And it's just a piece of plastic, all right? But it's there's confusion out there. What really is a green card? And what's the difference between a visa and a green card? Do you know? Do you know the difference? Let me just tell you, all right? There are people that'll come and they'll ask, hey, how can I get a visa so that I can travel and enter the United States for a temporary period of time? There are people that ask that question, absolutely. People that want to come in for a specific purpose, all right? They want to come in, they want to see their family, they want to go to Disneyland, whatever, and then they want to go back to their home country. That's a perfect question for how can I get a visa? All right, it's a temporary permit for a specific purpose. Come in, do that purpose. Come in, go to school for a student visa, and then go back to your country. All right? Those are visas. Visas are good. They're good. And green cards, in my opinion, are 1,000 times better. Green cards are better. Green cards are better, everybody. Why is that? A couple people will call our firm every day. Hey, can I get a visa? Hundreds of people will line up, trying, wanting, hoping. Can I get a green card? Why is a green card such a big deal, everybody? It's permanent. It is lawful, permanent residence. You can work any job. You can live permanently. You can travel back and forth. You can live your life. The green card represents freedom. You can be free to live your life and to do what you want to do. How's that sound, everybody? Shake it up out there. Does that sound good? Is that what people want? Typically people want freedom. They just want to be able to live their lives. A green card allows for that. It allows for that. People can just legally pass through the border. And it's not just like that. Obviously, there's a line to wait in, and there's an explanation to make to the immigration officer. But pretty much, you hold up that card, and they will let you in. And that is the way it works. That is the way it is. All right? And so now the question, what is that question? How do I get me one of those? How do I get me a green card in 2022? That's a great question. And if you're here today, that's the question I'm going to be talking about. You're in the right place. You're in the right place, everybody. And so here's the thing. It's not that complicated, actually. All right? There's basically a handful. All right? I've written down here 8 different ways. Okay? Way number 1, you ready for it? Family-based green cards. Huge category. Marry a U.S. citizen. All right? Have a U.S. citizen child who turns 21. That's a family-based case. Have a sibling that petitioned for you years and years ago, because they have a wait list for sibling cases. Parents who are U.S. citizens or green card holders can petition for their children, all right, to get green card holder, to get a green card, okay? All those are family-based cases. Here's the thing. If you've got a spouse, parent, son, or daughter, did you hear that? Spouse, parent, son, or daughter, who's either a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, talk to a lawyer. Figure it out. There might be a way. It's not guaranteed. It might take forever. Lots of those cases are applied for and then get denied for various reasons. So it's not automatic. But if you have a spouse, a parent, a son, or a daughter, or a sibling, all right? Did I say that? Spouse, parent, son or daughter, or a U.S. citizen sibling, brother or sister, who, is a citizen or even a green card holder. Even if they have a green card, they can apply to become a citizen, all right, after 5 years. So if you've got any of those family members, talk to a lawyer, think through the strategy, figure out that strategy, and maybe they have a way to petition for you. All right, family-based cases, that's number 1. That's the how, all right? How number 2, if you don't have family, what if you're not married to a U.S. citizen? Not everybody is, right? How number 2 that I want to talk about today is you file for asylum, all right? Now, asylum is risky. Don't do this at home, all right? Don't do this on your own, people. Don't do it without top quality legal advice about it, because if you file for asylum and you lose, which more than 70% of cases do lose, all right? If you file for asylum and you lose, you get subject to deportation proceedings. And so it's not for the faint of heart, but if you're one of the 25-ish% of those who apply who win, right? If you apply and you win, then you can apply for a green card after 1 year as an asylee. All right? So number 1, how? Family-based. Number 2, how? You file for asylum, then you win, which takes forever, by the way, and then you wait a year after winning, and then you can apply for a green card. Got it? Got it? Good. Number 3, U visas. U visas, who out there has a U visa? Who out there has applied for a U visa? Give me a thumbs up if you've applied for a U visa, all right? We've got a lot of people. We got a lot of people, like hundreds of thousands of people now have applied for the U visa. Many thousands of people are waiting in the backlogs for a U visa. My office, we got a case approved this week that has been pending for a long time. 2013 filed U visa got approved this week. And why so long? Well, there were complications with it, all right? And I'm really grateful that that case got approved. All right, win for our office this week with the U visa. All right, so how am I saying this? So how does it work with a U visa? First, you got to apply for that U visa. Then you got to win it, which takes forever. Then you wait 3 years in U visa status, and then you can apply for a green card. So yes, the U visa process, that's why it's such a great process. Yeah, it takes forever, but it's worth it, people. All right? If you were the victim of a crime in the United States and you're eligible for a U visa, do it because it's worth it, because it gives you an opportunity to apply for a green card. Okay? And yeah, it's a long, slow process, but it is a game changer. Okay? There we go. Number 4 is through what's called VAWA. VAWA, for those who don't know, stands for the Violence Against Women Act. You have to have been, to qualify for this type of a green card, you have to have been abused or subject to extreme cruelty in a marriage to a United States citizen or to a green card holder, or if you were the child of a parent who was abused in that situation. Okay? It's not fun to qualify for VAWA, but if you are in that situation, 2 things. If you're in that type of situation, and I'm seeing people waving to me on Instagram, hello. All right, hello everybody. Hello my friends on Instagram. Love you. All right? And if you're on YouTube and Facebook, hello there as well today. 2 things to say for all of the people that are in abusive relationships. Are you ready for this? Number 1, get out. No human being should tolerate being the victim of abuse or extreme cruelty. I don't care who your husband is. I don't care who your wife is. I don't care what, I don't care if they're a U.S. citizen and now they were going to file a petition for you. Screw that. Get out of that relationship. And now let's talk about how we can help you with VAWA. That's thing number 1. Thing number 2 you got to know is if you filed divorce, which file for the divorce, go for it. But if you filed for divorce, you've got to file for VAWA within 2 years of the marriage breaking up, okay, in order to qualify. So there's a time limit here. You got to be aware of it. If you need help, if you're going through a VAWA process, I highly recommend having a law firm help you with the process. Feel free to contact my office. We do that. We do that very well. We handle it with sensitivity. We'd love to help you with that. All right. And I hope nobody listening to me is in that situation, sincerely. Okay? All right. And situation number 5 to win a green card. We're going through it. We're going through it fast, people. All right? Situation number 5 is what we call cancellation of removal in court. If you are in removal proceedings, and if you can show that you have a U.S. citizen, spouse, parent, or child, or a green card holder, spouse, parent, or child, who would suffer what the law considers to be an exceptional and an extremely unusual hardship, like your family member is going to die, that level of harm. They depend on you for their survival, right? They depend on you for everything, all right? A child who has Down syndrome, a child with severe autism, a parent who's dying of cancer, a spouse who has cancer, right? Things like situations like that are like really almost tragic, yeah? Very heart-wrenching situations. If you're in immigration court, you can win a green card, all right, based on that level of hardship. Okay? Cancellation of removal, that's what we call it. And there's other requirements. You have to show you're a person of good moral character, no arrests, things like that. So those cases are big. They're big cases, all right? And do not do them alone because the risks are astronomical. You lose a case like that, you get ordered deported, okay? Those are the 5 big options that exist for the undocumented community, all right? Those are them, all right? Now you might say, hey, what about DACA, right? Great question, DACA. There's no pathway to a green card through DACA. I don't know if you knew that. Now, Congress has been trying, but right now there isn't one. Immigration reform and all the talks and blah, 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 right? That could create a new pathway for a green card, but that hasn't happened, All right? And so if it does happen, we'll be doing a live episode or like 1,000 of them, right, about that. But that hasn't happened. Those 5 are the 5 for the undocumented community, the undocumented population here in the U.S. And ladies and gentlemen, that is why there are so many undocumented people in the U.S. Because the vast majority of human beings don't qualify under those things. All right? Like 11 million people don't qualify. And that's why we need immigration reform. All right? That's why we need immigration reform, everybody. And for those who might have a case, hey, call a lawyer. That's what we're here for, right? Call a lawyer. Let's strategize it. Maybe there is a way to qualify under one of these things. All right? And if there's not today, heck, maybe there will be. And I'm a huge optimist, and I'm a huge believer in like, hey, if there's a will, let's try it out. Let's strategize. Let's figure out what we can do to maximize our chances of being eligible for something in the future. Anyway, before I stop and before I pivot and go towards everyone's questions that have been submitted, I do want to say there are a couple of more that my office does not do because our clients don't qualify for them, but other folks do. All right? And so maybe you know somebody that's in this situation. For example, there are employment-based green cards. All right? They are limited. They are rigid and narrow. I am not an expert in them because my clients do not qualify for them. But there's often that question, right? Could my employer petition for my green card? And yeah, some employers can, right? If you have a highly in demand degree, if you're a software engineer, for example, from India, from China, right? And if you are doing high level programming for Apple and Google and for there is an employment-based immigration option. If you are an executive and you entered on an executive visa, like an L1 visa, things like that, your company could petition for a green card. Okay, it's important to know that, all right? There's also something called the green card lottery. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. There's a green card lottery for people that are in countries that don't have very many people represented here in the U.S., all right? So Mexico, China, Philippines, they aren't eligible for that because there's a lot of folks from those countries. But if you're from a small country, right? If you're from a small country, or not necessarily small, but just ones that's not very, well represented, I guess, within the United States, you might be eligible for the green card lottery. Check it out. Check it out. See if your country is eligible. All right. And the last one that I'll mention are investment-based green cards for high-level business people looking to invest in the U.S. economy. All right. And if that's you, and if you're applying from outside the U.S., again, that's not my law firm. All right. That's not what we do. In my firm, we fight for the rights of immigrants who are facing deportation. All right? So if you know someone who's facing deportation and you want to talk about a strategy to get a green card, hey, give us a call. We'd love to help you. All right? That's it. All right? That's it. I mean, I say that's it. There are some others, all right? There's a law called NACARA, the Nicaraguan and Central American Relief Act, that was passed in 1996. That applied back then, all right? There are some others. I'm not going to go into the weeds, right, of it. But right now, people who are here right now that are looking to qualify, it's those, all right? It's those green card eligibility categories. I hope this was helpful. I hope it was useful. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pivot, I'm going to talk about the questions that were submitted here, all right? So my first question comes from Carol, all right? Carol, thank you so much for your question. Your question is, do I need to get some kind of a permit in order to travel within the United States, all right? I don't have a passport. They took my passport and my visa. All right, so Carol, thank you. So do you need some kind of permit to travel within the United States? Well, here's the thing. The question is, if you're undocumented, all right, if a person's undocumented, there is always a risk, right? There's always a risk that you could be detained, that you could be subject to deportation proceedings. And so you want to be careful and cautious. And so thank you for asking that question. And if you have documents and they were just like, that you just don't have them on hand for some reason, then, you would want some kind of proof, right? If you're going to board a plane in the United States, if you're going to go into an airport and board an airplane, you need to have valid, unexpired government ID of some kind to board a plane. You need documents of some kind to board a plane, all right? And I'll say that if you're traveling to certain states in the U.S., even driving can be unadvisable, right? If you don't have, especially if you don't have a driver's license, it's a crime in most states to drive without a license. So it's better to be a passenger than to be the driver. But to be a passenger in a car traveling through other states, there's typically no crime in that, all right? No harm in that. And just be cautious anywhere within 50 miles of the U.S. border. I'd say be cautious there, all right? Carol, I hope that answered your specific question. You would need a valid government ID of some kind to board an airplane. Other types of travel don't have that type of restriction, all right, once you're inside the U.S. But just be careful, because anybody that's undocumented is at some risk. If there's immigration officials wandering around, they can say, hey, do you have papers, right? And you could fight about that. I'm not saying that you can't argue that, hey, they shouldn't have even asked that question. Maybe it was a race-based question they were asking you. We'll get into motions to suppress on some other day. But just be aware, right? Some states in the United States are less immigrant-friendly than others. And I'll leave it at that for now. The next question comes from Elias, all right? Elias, your question is, they caught me. No, sorry. I turned myself in at the border to immigration officials. I'm now in Los Angeles. I have court next week. I don't have a lawyer. What's going to happen? Will I be deported? Gosh, all right. Elias, thank you for being here. Thank you for asking that question. Welcome to the United States. All right, welcome to the United States. I'm glad you're online. I'm glad you're asking the questions, because you have the right to defend yourself if you've got a court hearing. All right, you do. You've got the right to defend yourself. The United States Constitution gives every human being, I don't care if you have documents or not, it gives every human being the right to due process of law in the Fifth Amendment of the United States Constitution. All right? So you have the right to defend yourself. You have the right to have a lawyer represent you. You have the right to be treated fairly in front of a judge in court. Okay? And so don't take that lightly. Don't take that lightly, and fight for yourself, man. Fight for yourself. Now, here's the thing. If you've got court next week, my guess is it's a preliminary hearing, or what we call in the immigration court, a master calendar hearing. All right? Yes, I recommend having a lawyer with you. All right? And sometimes, often, a judge might allow you to have a little bit more time to find a lawyer if you haven't found one at your very first hearing, right? Especially if it came very quickly. And here's the thing, Elias, important to know this. You have to go to it. All right? Like, you have to go to it. I hope that's not a surprise. Like, go to your hearing, because if you don't go, a judge has to, by law, order your deportation in your absence. So you got to go to that hearing. And yes, I highly recommend you go with a lawyer. Got it? All right, we're doing great, everybody. We're doing great. So the next question comes from, I think it's Trinidad. All right? And so Trinidad, thank you for your question. Your question is, it's very challenging. It's not affordable to find caregivers in California. I want to petition for my daughter to come from the Philippines and to help me with my daily living activities now that I'm an old man. All right? I need a caregiver. All right? And so I was thinking to petition her as a tourist. All right? Or use some kind of a visa status. And what's the fastest way that she could come here? Thank you very much. So here's the truth, Trinidad. Here's the truth, and it's a harsh truth. Tourist visa will not work. All right? It won't work. Why? Because if Border Patrol knows that she's coming in on a tourist visa with the purpose of working, all right, including as your caregiver, they'll deny her the visa. They'll say it's a violation of the tourist visa. They actually consider that visa fraud. Okay? Like, the way to help you and the way to help through your daughter is to talk to a lawyer, all right? Talk to a lawyer and get really, really clear about whether or not she would be eligible for any type of visa, all right? And it's possible that she won't be. And I'm sorry to say it, but I am. But that is reality. It is not easy to get a visa for people that are in your daughter's situation, for people that are in your situation. All right, there you go. So, and if I can help you in any more way with that, please feel free to contact my firm. Okay. The next question comes from Pablo. Pablo, hello and thank you. U visa applicants, this is your question. U visa applicants, are we getting work permits? My application was submitted last year in 2021. I was the victim of being shot at. Wow. All right. Pablo, thank you for asking that question. Here's the way it is. All right. Last year, they announced a change to the work authorization process for people with U visas. Yes, you will get a work authorization card. You'll be in line for a work permit. And it's going to take them a long time to roll all that out, all right? Like, it's going to take them a long time. It probably won't happen this year for you. Probably won't, right? It's taken them that long. And there are so many cases in the backlogs, they're going to get to 2021 at the very end. So my guess is probably not 2022. It'll probably be more like 2023 for you, unless the law changes, okay? I'm looking at the time, everybody. I apologize. I am late. All right? I am late, and I've got to get going in Spanish. So here, thank you all so much. Dave, Jorge, Natia, Munsuru, Raiz, Christopher, Ecoculture, I think that's your name there. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you all so much for asking your questions. Everybody on Instagram, John, Shaglo, El Pollo Jalisco. Awesome. Hello. Welcome, everybody. Thank you all so much for being here. Happy New Year to everybody. It's the 6th of January of 2022. I really hope that this was useful information for you. If it was, hey, please subscribe to our channel. Please hit the notifications bell. I will shoot additional videos to answer the questions that I unfortunately didn't have time to get to here today. I am needing to get into the Spanish episode of this. So if you speak Spanish, please join me in Spanish in just a minute. And thank you all so much for being here. If this year is your year, if this year could be your year to apply for a green card, or to come out of the shadows finally, or to at least contact an immigration lawyer for the first time to see if you might have some strategy, some option, some way, all right, to increase your level of freedom so that you can live the life you want to live, please, I would love to be that guy. I would love to be that guy. Contact my firm. We'd love to help you. We are here for you. And so if you're in that boat, here we are. Give us a call. Feel free to give us a call. We are here to help. And otherwise, hey, join us again. Hit the notifications bell. Give us a thumbs up if this was useful. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Empowered Immigrant Live Thank you all so much. Again, I'm your host, Otis Landerholm, founding attorney here at Landerholm Immigration, A.P.C, where we fight for your American dream. All right. Thanks again. We'll see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.